More than 30 senators sent a letter to Biden Saturday night asking him to take, quote, bold action. Among them, Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, who joins me now. Senator, as mentioned, you are among the senators asking the president to take bold action. What do you want to see the president do?
Well, there's any number of things that the president can do. You already discussed them, for example, allowing clinics on federal lands. We also need to make sure that we talk about these Supreme Court justices who lied to the Senate. As a senator, I did not vote for either Gorsuch or Kavanaugh. I would hope that the senators who voted for him would at least now consider voting to suspend the filibuster so that we can reaffirm women's rights to abortion.
Let me ask you, Senator, because you talk to your colleagues all the time. Do you think that is an argument that would actually hold weight with them? Do you think that you could persuade them using that argument?
Well, I'm going to do everything that I can to make it clear that that's my argument, but that the American people need to make that argument. I hope the American people remember that when it comes time to vote this November, and I think that they should also be calling all of these senators who voted for Justices Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and tell them this is not acceptable. You need to now, since you voted for these two guys who lied and said that they didn't lie and that you believe them, then you need to turn around and vote to suspend the filibuster so that we can reaffirm a woman's right to abortion.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you were listening to at the top of the show, took it a step further. She said she thinks the Supreme Court justices who misled members of Congress should face impeachment. Do you agree?
Well, I don't think that impeachment would be the most expedient way to do it. Look, she's entitled to her opinion, but I think what we can do is vote in more Democrats. I am in the same place as Elizabeth Warren is, which is get us two more Democrats who are willing to vote to suspend the filibuster so that we can pass any number of laws, everything from a woman's right to choose to Voting Rights Act to putting a ban on assault weapons. Remember, these are Republicans. Republicans voted for these two justices. And these are the same people who won't actually vote for an assault weapons ban, and yet they want to ban my right to choose. Yeah,
Senator, you have been very open about your own personal history with reproductive care, with reproductive rights. If I'm not mistaken, you're also a mother of daughters. Now that Roe is reversed, how are you seeing this moment that we're in? What do you say to your colleagues, to Americans who may be happy, who may support what the Supreme Court just did?
What I say to them is you have no idea what you have wrought. You have no idea. You think that this is just about abortion. It is not about abortions. It is about the access to in vitro fertilization. I conceived both my children, both my beautiful daughters, through IVF. People will now see that the potential in places like Louisiana, where there's a law that's drafted that would actually not allow you access to IVF treatments, because if life begins with the fertilization of an egg, then many forms of IVF could be considered manslaughter or even murder, because you don't implant every egg that is fertilized in IVF. If you need an IUD, you may not be able to access IUDs. And remember that Clarence Thomas came out just within the last 48 hours and said, hey, we should go after all of the other unenumerated rights. Things like gay marriage, interracial marriage, those are all unenumerated rights. So what I say to folks is this is about so much more than the right to abortion. This is about women's ability to control their own bodies. This is about my daughters, your daughters, being able to grow up in a country where they can control their own health care, make their own health care decisions. The Supreme Court has just made all of the women in this country second-class citizens again.
We have that opinion that you were referencing from Justice Thomas. I hope we can bring it up, stating that past Supreme Court rulings legalizing contraceptions and gay rights should also now be reconsidered. When you think about the scope of this, for people watching, how do we make sure these rights remain protected?
Vote for Democrats. Vote for Democrats. Get us the two additional Democratic senators that we need. Make sure that the House remains in Democratic hands, and let us go forward. Because what we will do is we will put a bill on the floor, and we will pass a bill after we suspend the filibuster that will enshrine a woman's right to choice. We will pass a bill that will look at voting rights and enshrine people's voting rights. We will look at banning things like assault weapons that kill so many people on our streets, especially in places like Chicago. Yes, we just passed a recent gun control bill. It was a small one. It was a good first step, but there's so much more that we could do if Democrats just get us 2 more Democrats who are willing to cast those votes to suspend the filibuster, and we can make a lot happen.